Last year at Davos, VC investor Jim Breyer was pounding the table, I don't know if you remember this, on NVIDIA, calling it an underappreciated AI story. And boy, was he right. Breyer Capital's investment reveals bets on AI adoption for everything from detecting and treating cancer, developing new materials, and writing papers. Joining us right now is Jim Breyer, Breyer Capital founder and CEO. Welcome back to Davos.
Pleasure.
So, okay, by the way, we should start here. Would you still pound the table on NVIDIA?
I'm pounding the table.
You're still
on
pounding the
NVIDIA. And I think the key risks are supply shortage. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's the Chinese supply chain. It was at one of the discussions in and around some of your conferences where I spent time with NVIDIA's senior teams around the resilience of the supply chain. I came away very impressed. They have built a software layer around their chip that the companies I invest in just can't get enough of. And so if you want to run really significant AI,
right,
and you want to do optimization, you want to be running different probabilities, you need NVIDIA, and I also pound the table on AMD.
On AMD. Speak to this, though, because when you talk about doing serious kind of work, you're not really, I mean, Sam Altman's here, he's talking about ChatGPT, there's just a big meeting, I don't know if you were at that meeting, we can talk about it, but you're talking about, I mean, you're investing in a number of companies that are using AI for healthcare, where they're having to do imaging and real sort of heavy-duty stuff. Where do you see the real opportunity? I mean, we talk about AI every day, but nobody sort of has a tangible form factor for it. Where do you see the biggest opportunity immediately?
Well, I'm seeing it play out in very positive ways because for the 12 or so AI spin-outs out of Memorial Sloan Kettering, MD Anderson, Harvard, UCSF. We start with great medical data and a great set of doctors. Mm-hmm. It's my job to recruit these insane machine learning geniuses out of Alphabet and Amazon and Microsoft. And we're seeing phenomenal progress in a number of cases where something as simple as getting a pathology slide back used to take 10 days. We do it in 2. And I think what we shall see over the next couple of years, these worlds have been completely separate. Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the academic world and then the commercial world where you can actually get those patient to patients, right, to actually help improve things. Yeah.
And so I think the other piece of it is for a lot of people who invest in biotech, they've been very slow to invest in artificial intelligence. And there are a lot of great investors out there who just don't do healthcare life sciences. And so part of the Breyer Capital thesis in 2016 and 17, study New England Journal of Medicine, spend time with the doctors, and the newest deal, which I'm really excited about with my friends Michael Dell and Steve Pagluca, Tom Cahill, we have one of the best scientists in the world as our founder, Stuart Schreiber. And he was a co-founder of the Broad, a lot of advances.
The Broad Institute.
The Broad
this
Institute.
Is for Arena Biotech.
This is Arena.
Yeah.
We spoke to the Broad and the universities for about a year. And we are basically now announced as a for-profit institute that will build deep AI technology, but it's all medical and computer experts who really think we can make a big difference. Instead of 10 years for a new drug, it's 3.
I mean, that's one of the most exciting promises of all of this artificial intelligence. One of the things that could probably benefit humanity to the highest degree.
Yeah. So I had this conversation last night at a CNBC dinner with one of our great pharmaceutical executives, our being the world. He's not from the U.S. And he said, how important is AI? And I really do. I smile, but for someone working in these spaces, as well as more broadly, it's AI or die. I can promise you. I've never seen anything like it.
Do you think, though, I mean, we're in such early days, and I just wonder whether this is 1996 or not. 1996 was a great time insofar as there was a lot of invention. There was also a lot of money that went in that never came out. And so are we in that period, and how do you decipher between the stuff that's going to work and isn't at this point?
I think it's really hard to figure out if it's 1996 or 1999. I was fortunate to have Steve Jobs as a mentor during the personal computing revolution. 50 or so companies went under in about 12 or 18 months. We didn't need that many PC companies. Same was true in the area of the internet and the web browser. Great carnage. Social networks. Again, one of the reasons I loved Facebook, I looked at 4 other social networks, and Facebook had figured things out.
I'm trying to think of the different ways that you can use AI in the medical arena. So, and I think in terms of drug discovery, you don't even need to do some clinical trials for whatever the greatest binding compound is. That's one way to do it. You might be able to show someone a histology slide. You'll know exactly instantaneously whether it's cancer, whether it shows something else, or just data collection for drug-drug interactions, and all these things. Do you know Tyler Jacks? You know him? You do? Okay, so I know he came into the Center for Cancer Research after Sal Luria exited, and no one knew why you needed a computer genius at MIT to do cancer research. That had to be 15, 20 years ago, and he's now at Coke up there. But Broad as well. But all three, all of the above, are where you're going to see potential.
You bet. And so I think I'm a venture capitalist, despite what students wanted to call me.
The drug discovery, the diagnostic.
It's all of it. The drug discovery, it is happening. And my mother passed away from ovarian cancer, and there are drugs available today that would have let her live longer, healthier, and better, and not go through 6 bouts of chemotherapy. So there's a pipeline of drugs that just needs to be accelerated, and
that's what AI can do.
That's what AI and computation can do.
We got to run, and they're going to kill me for asking, who loses in all of this? Because a lot of companies won, but then there are always going to be people who are going to be upended. Who do you look at and say it's going to be tough for them?
I think there are companies like Cisco that are now value-oriented. They are not on the growth trajectory. I like the acquisitions they've made. The Magnificent Seven, quote-unquote, I would add AMD to that list for sure. The best AI talent is in the mega-cap arena. I would say $1 billion or $1 trillion of Microsoft market cap is probably due to AI. And so we'll see. But there are a lot of companies that don't move fast enough.
I can't tell what you're saying with that $1 trillion, whether it's overvalued or undervalued. And I think he's not going to answer the question.